Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the mini podcast series, Great People Talk, where we invite amazing, great thought leaders to share their wisdom, their insights, to really help you on your path to greatness. And today we're joined by Laurie Sudbrink, who is a coach, speaker, facilitator, trainer, a woman I'm honored to call a friend, and of course, the author of this best-selling book and a leadership program called Leading with Grit.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here, Tatyana, and I'm so glad that we connected.
Yes, likewise. So we'll be talking about your book. You and I connected on this, and I shared with you how much it resonated with me, and I really wanted. I knew right away that I wanted to have you on the program, and I wanted to find a way for you to share with my audience too, share that wisdom.
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, when you contacted me after reading the book, and it was cool how much it did resonate with you. And I was curious, like, why did it resonate with you? What in particular resonated with you in that book?
Well, there's so many things, and I did the audiobook, so I did feel like you were in my head because it's narrated by you, which is awesome. And I do have the physical book with all my sticky notes in there. As a leadership coach, I talk a lot about many of the concepts that you cover in the book. And when I took the grit assessment and read the book, there were so many of those pieces of wisdom that kind of I feel like we shared. The truth, the choosing happiness. I always say choose happiness. The respect and the integrity, which is of course the part of the acronym. The most important value for me is integrity. It's in big letters above my screens. Integrity, transparency, and value. These are the core values that I live by in my business and life. You talk about ego. You talk about many paths you can choose. And I often talk about the power of words, and you have a whole section on that. Basically, words can create your reality, and so changing your thoughts is what you talked about. That really resonated with me also. And what do you want from life? Also, that was real. It's actually the very first question I ask my clients when I start coaching engagements with them. What do you want? And it seems to be such a big question, such a difficult question for them to ponder and answer. And so much more. I mean, perfectionism, selfishness, openness, acceptance, belief in yourself and others, so much in there that, like I said, I had to have you on the program to share your thoughts and your wisdom.
Part of it is, I like to say that, we're messengers, and it's a truth that's coming out of us, and the way that we say it, or the way that we present it, or the way that we help our clients with it, we might have a little different packaging or spin with it, but it all kind of resonates back or goes back to those core concepts.
Yeah. So going back to grit, topic of our discussion. So I really want our audience to understand grit is, because it can mean different things to different people. I mean, it is a powerful word typically used in motivational kind of conversations. It is the word of power. But then when you turned it into an acronym and you added under each letter, there was something more. It's almost you doubled the power of the word grit. So could you talk about in your words about the grit acronym and maybe how it came about? That was my first question. So cool. How did it come?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start with how it came about, because it makes sense to help people see where I was coming from with the acronym. And I had worked for many years with this C-suite executives and even middle management, and I could see that these folks had grit. Like, the grit got them where they were. They definitely had grit. But what I was seeing was it was causing collateral damage. The grit was like this, they were almost trampling over, their own health or their own relationships or other people, to get to that goal or to get to that next level in the organization. And so grit, they kind of had that down, at least the concept of perseverance and passion and driving towards something. And so the acronym helps I love what you said, the double power. It helps to combine that so that you have sustainable grit, so that the grit doesn't cause collateral damage in your life. And then you end up, the grit is going to cause you the issues and the problems. So the acronym stands for generosity, respect, integrity, and truth. And it all starts with truth. So truth is the foundation, and we kind of work our way back so that we get grit. So truth is, who am I? Being brutally honest with myself, my strengths, my limitations, my warts, anything that I have, just being able to objectively look at myself, accept myself objectively, and be clear on what I might want to change, and that's okay. But just making sure that I know who I am and I can see that. The truth is the part of just looking at it. Integrity, the next step, is the action of your truth. Are you in alignment with what you say you are and what's important to you? So if I say health and wellness are important to me, but I come home every night and I kick back on the couch and I crack open a beer, have a Snickers bar or something, is it really that important to me? What am I doing to align with what I say is important to me? And what's kind of cool with the GRIT acronym is it is linear in a sense, but it's very intertwined, but it's also kind of like a test for yourself. You can look at, am I in integrity? And then you get to question, well, is it really that important to me? If it's not, then that's not your truth. It's not that you're not there to beat yourself up or anything. You're just there to use that as a guide for yourself. Integrity is also about doing your best, just making sure that you give it your best and that's it. And don't try to be this unattainable definition of perfection, because that's when we beat ourselves up and we can't really move forward. The next step is respect. And as we all know, self-respect is critical. So if we know ourselves the truth and we align with that integrity, that's showing self-respect to ourselves right there. It's giving that respect that we need to ourselves. And taking care of ourselves is another form of self-respect. I love and this really happened to me. People use it all the time in training, but it's when the flight attendant says, put your oxygen mask on yourself before helping the person next to you. I remember the first time I flew with my 2-year-old daughter and the flight attendant saying that, and I literally kind of went, I don't think I would do that. I think I would put it on her and then put it on me. And we all know, of course, we have to take care of ourselves first so that we can take care of others. We have to respect ourselves first so that we can respect others. And respect, of course, is a two-way street. As you know, there's a chapter on each one of these, so I'll try to be as short as possible. And that naturally goes into generosity, because if we know ourselves and accept ourselves, we're aligning our behaviors appropriately, accordingly to that, and we're respecting other people, we naturally feel abundance rather than scarcity. We're aligned properly. We want to give. We don't feel like we have to give. We want to have that one-on-one conversation and that, tough feedback that we need to give to our direct report, because we understand that this is really going to help this person. So generosity flows more naturally instead of feeling like you have to do something. With these 4 characteristics, these 4 traits, when we combine that with grit, that's when the magic happens, right? That's the double power. I'm going to use that from now on, Tatyana. I love that, because we are not going to, we're going to be true to ourselves, and we're going to be able to sustain that grit over time.
And how have you seen grit in action? Because it's not just a book, which I highly recommend everyone pick it up. It is also a training program. right?
Yeah. Yeah, it is, and we do a 3-day retreat on Lead with Grit, but really what's important is how does it impact us as individuals, right? Like how does, and you know, it- I've seen individuals, in fact, I'm thinking of a senior partner that I worked with recently. I've seen the light bulb goes off, the awareness, it's like this, the awareness comes and it's like, wow, I get it. I understand that I need to make sure that I'm being authentic and true with myself and with other people and have the right intent. And then we can all have grit and push forward and not give up and persevere. But if we don't do that, and this is what was happening with this gentleman, we are going to come across as pushy. We're going to come across as just we don't really care about the person. We care more about the result. I had comments because when I went out and talked to people before I was doing executive coaching with this gentleman, people were saying we love him outside of work, but in the workplace, like he's really tough to deal with because he feels like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And we don't need to be that way at work. We can be more transparent. I love what you said at the beginning. It's like that integrity and that transparency and just be real but know where our intent is so that we're coming from a place that's helpful instead of harmful ourselves too.
It's authenticity.
Yes,
And
yes.
to me, that's a lot what you were talking about, the truth, knowing who
Mhm.
you are. When you know who you are, you can then come through more authentically instead of
Yes.
trying to replicate something that worked for someone else and then you beat yourself up if it doesn't work. Well, you're a different person. Everybody's unique and everybody's different. Um, but
Yeah.
the principles are the same that will lead you to that place of authenticity. And so
Mhm.
I love that. So where can folks connect with you, where they can find you if they have questions, need more information?
Yeah, thanks. So LinkedIn is the only social media that I use, and you can find me Laurie Sudbrink on LinkedIn. And then Leading with Grit, the best place to buy it is Amazon. You can get audio, Kindle, or paperback on Amazon. So yeah, those are probably the two best places.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining, and we'll have you back to talk more in depth, maybe about each one of the grit letters.
Oh,
And
that'd be fun.
that would be interesting, right?
Yeah,
To continue
definitely.
this mini series. I really appreciate you joining us. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.